You know what we did was unbelievable. I don't know if you're into conspiracy theories or not, but we went to Waco, Texas. We went to Branch Davidian with David Koresh.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
What's the building? Is it just ripped down?
No, they built a church. The pool is still there. The Branch Davidian pool that David Koresh built. The main building obviously is gone. They built the church, and in 1996, a minister who was involved with David Koresh, he runs it. He and his wife. And he just had a stroke. It was real sad. She goes, "If my husband was here, my husband would talk to you all day and give you like real, intimate details of what happened."
When that happened? 92?
94, maybe 3. I think it was 3. You think you're right, I think it was 3. But there was a guy that was a neighbor, and he's now security for them, and he was telling me a story. It was like so fascinating. And a lot of people like rolling their eyes. And they get 100 people a day, about 100 people a day come to visit.
Wow.
They close when the weather's not. But she said to me, her husband so right now the church isn't running because he had a stroke. But she said that he would. So he wrote a book, so I bought a copy of his book. Really interesting. I love stuff like that. I love like true crime and stuff. And he vehemently disagreed that David Koresh was the Son of God, that he was the Lamb. He said, "You are not the Lamb of God." And he and David went at it, and then David had him removed, so he had to leave. 77 acres. 77 acres now. There's horses and sheep. Yeah.
It's funny because so much carnage was done in the area. You know what I mean?
They showed the house too, where they came to this guy that's a neighbor, and he said to me, he said, "You got to get out of your house." And he goes, "What do I do?" He goes, "You and your family and your young kids, get out of the house. You need to leave." How long? 2 months. And it was the siege was 51 days. And originally they thought it was going to take 6 hours. So he said, "So I have to be out of my house for 2 months." Yes, you'll be out of your house for at least 2 months. So his thing was they knew that it wasn't going to be 6 hours or 7 hours. He claims those ATF guys were set up, that they were private security for Bill Clinton. I'll let you read the book. It's really fascinating. And he says right in it, you make your own determinations of whether or not you think this is. But supposedly there was a house right across from the gates, and David Koresh went over with wine and pizza and beer and said to them, because he knew they were there, he knew the ATF were hanging, the marshals were hanging out there, and he said, "Listen, I know you guys are coming to get us. Why don't we try to work this out?" This is what the pastor's wife said. And they were like, "Listen, there's no working this out. Come out, leave right now, give us all the weapons, and that's the only thing that's going to happen. If not, we're gonna come in with tanks, and we're going to blow this whole place up. We're going to kill you, and everyone is going to die if you don't come out." That's what she said to me. I didn't sit in the room, so I don't know what the truth is, but it was very interesting. The neighbor was validating.
That changed the way the feds do stuff forever after that.
And it should have.
Yeah, I mean, it was totally.
Yellow mic.
Yellow mic.
You want a red mic? Just set up a little bit closer to you. Alright. Blue mic.
With your host, Joey Driscoll. Stay tuned for news. Middleboro news. Here on AM 1530 WBBF.
That's the excitement. Who's that? Who's the voice?
That's Tony Lopez.
Good guy.
Tony Lopez.
He's a good guy. He's funny. I like him.
3, 2, 1, and 0. And good morning, and welcome to Middleboro in review. I am Joey Driscoll.
All of us at once. Ready? 1, 2. You know what I'm gonna say, right?
I don't.
No, I don't.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Oh. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Happy New Year,
everybody. It's 2024. First Middleboro in review in 2024. We have
the
Don.
New improved Middleboro review with the new number.
The same Middleboro in review
with just the new number. We got the
with
new
just
number.
the new year. Yes.
Yeah. A nice even number.
Open phone lines today, 508-822-1106 if you want to call in. Speak with our guest today, Chuck Hart. Good morning, Chuck.
So good to be here, Joey.
You almost a residency.
Yes, I like this. I like
yes.
it. I get great joy out of coming here. I really, and I appreciate everything you guys do. I love listening to you guys. You guys are a great father and son team. And I do have good news. In February, the first ever elected female president of St. Vincent de Paul is either going to be here in person if you want, or on the phone. I gave her the choice.
Okay.
She couldn't do it today because she's babysitting her 6 grandchildren, and I thought that would be a little bit tough for her to navigate 6 children and listening, or 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But she is very excited to come in February, if you guys would like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can bring her in tow for sure. I know, and you gonna both of you show up.
I hope.
Yeah.
That's the plan. Can you call her? If not, can she call in or not?
Yeah, okay. She can call.
So either she'll be here in person or she'll call.
Okay, so, yeah, or whatever. You know, if she can't make it that day, she can call any other Sunday or whatnot. But I mean, as long as you show up in a month's time.
Yes, and you remember Bill Pye? Bill Pye was president at one time. He said to say hello to you.
Okay, and how's Ray doing?
I think he's making progress. I don't have an update, but keep him in your prayers. He did break his hip but I think he's on the road to wellness.
And Dave, how's Dave doing?
Dave's doing well. Dave Cunningham is he's an Eagle Scout, by the way.
Okay.
So that means he's highly intelligent.
Yeah.
He's good people. Dave.
Yeah,
Cunningham's good people.
no,
I can invite Dave too if you want. He's good.
Yeah,
people.
he's called, I think, before, but
Yes.
whatever. I mean, he's great. I know
couple
Dave,
of
and
times.
it's just like it's such a well-oiled machine over there, and
And I could get Chuckles the Clown down if you wanted him to come. That's up to you, though.
oh yeah,
You know Chuckles, right?
no,
You don't know Chuckles?
no,
Oh, okay. Chuckles, you never. I don't know what we can and cannot mention here. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't.
you better not.
FAA. But can you mention TV shows or no?
I don't know, probably not. I
Okay.
don't know. What do you think, Joey? Yeah, we can mention. You just can't sing them.
I won't
Yeah.
sing it, but it's from the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I don't want to monopolize. This is the last
Oh,
thing I'm
yeah.
going to say. Yes, Chuckles the Clown, one of the best episodes ever.
Oh, that's right.
I don't want to monopolize, but the last thing I'm going to say is I was very heartbroken that David Soul passed away at 80. David Soul, you know David Soul,
Yeah.
the infamous Starsky and Hutch. So.
And he had one song too.
Yes, he did, and it was quite the hit.
Uh,
I can't sing it, so I know.
yeah, what's the name of the song? Don't something, baby.
Yeah,
No, I can't sing it.
I can't do it without singing it, to be
Right,
honest.
right. You know what's the song?
Don't give up on me, baby.
Don't
or
give
something
up on
like
me.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he was in Salem's Lot, the television version, which was incredible. It was a short, I think it was like a 3-night
Yeah.
miniseries back in the late 70s. But may he rest in peace.
Yeah, I think David Soul, and I'm not sure who the other.
Was it Glassman?
Is he Starsky or Hutch?
He was Hutch.
He was Hutch. So Starsky's the other guy. And
That's Michael Glassman, I think, or Glasserman or something.
it's funny because the remake of Starsky and Hutch with Ben Stiller
Yes.
and Owen Wilson.
Yes.
Okay, which I thought was great.
Yes.
Okay, because I'm not really big on those retakes because I don't think they do them right. But that was a great movie.
So it did it justice.
It did, and at the end of the movie, those guys did a
Yes,
cameo.
they did. They did.
And Snoop Dogg is Huggy Bear.
Yes. Oh.
So you couldn't ask much better. That movie was just. I mean, like I said, I'm not really a big fan of when they do.
What do they call the remakes or the reboots or the
Just,
retools?
well, there's a couple of Death Wish was another one
Yeah.
with who?
Our good friend that has.
Jeff Goldblum was in it. The first one.
No,
He has
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis,
Willis.
who's not doing well, I hear.
Yeah.
But he was great. Bruce Willis was one
That's
of
what
my
I'm saying.
favorites.
There's only one or two that they did justice. Other ones, I don't know. So it's really.
And back in the day, Joey, you probably know this. Your dad and I didn't have any choices. I mean, there was literally 4, 5, and 7, and 56 and 38. We didn't have any choices. No.
In 68.
And 68, correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
68. But 68 was never on.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I used to listen to? And I mentioned this on the show, and I'm not sure if you even remember, but in the morning on Channel 56, right? The Tom and Jerry was on, and the
Yes.
Flintstones.
I
Was it the
love-
Flintstones?
Yes, it
7,
was.
7
It
o'clock.
was. It was.
But I used to get up at like quarter of and look at the little Channel 56 thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it'd be
Yeah.
up to like maybe 5 of.
Yeah.
And then you know what song they'll do every morning on Channel 56?
I don't remember. If you said it might pique my.
That's one reason I fell in love with the song was "City of New Orleans" by Al Guthrie.
Yes. Oh,
Remember that?
Yes, I
Channel
do.
56
I do.
used to always do that song. I think they did another one.
I don't remember them playing that song, but I know
They
the song.
always played it. It had the and then they did the national anthem.
At midnight. Good night, Joey. Good night, everybody. The national anthem at midnight every night.
Yeah, but in the morning too.
Yeah, they open up with that?
Yeah, they opened right, but they always played "City of New Orleans" by Al Guthrie. Always. And I used to get up early to watch that,
Yeah.
to listen to the song. And another thing too, when I was in 5th grade, I spent 3 hours trying to call. I think it was I'm not sure what station it was, but I wanted to hear a song that was called "The Voice" by the Moody Blues. It took me 3.5 hours to get through, and I waited all day. It was back in the days when you wait all day next to the radio to hear your song.
Was this WBCN back in the day?
No, I think it was. I'm not sure who
Charles
it was.
Laquadera.
I think it was. I think it was WRKO at the time.
Oh yeah.
When they were, it was really early. It was like '78, and I think WRKO in '78 was still playing music at that point in time. So I think it was WRKO. But getting through. Oh, on the phone, dial, because at that '78, I think we had dial. We didn't even have touch-tone at that point. And then finally got through. And what's your name? Oh, my name's Don. I want to hear the voice.
Now you're a fifth grader at this time.
I think it was 78. So yeah, I was a fifth grader. And then I waited. I remember because it was a snow day. Because I was ready to go to school.
Double bonus.
And then everyone used to look at the TV and you're like, where's Quincy? Where's Quincy? And you're like, not Quincy this batch. So they do it every 15 minutes. And then every 15 minutes, and then when you see Quincy, you'd be, you're so excited that you didn't have to go to school.
And I had to wait for the S's because they went in alphabetical order, Joey. So literally you had to sit and listen to Gary LaPierre back in the day. I don't know if you did.
Yes.
And he would start with
He was
A's.
the guy.
They would always say, we're starting off, all Boston public schools are canceled. And then they'd go for the Abington, Arlington, and all that. And Swampscott was, obviously late in the alphabet.
Yeah, Quincy too.
The commercials. So you had to wait for the commercials.
Yeah, I had to wait for Quincy. You know what I mean?
See the crosses we had to bear, Joey? You can't imagine.
And then we're looking out, going back to the window, looking, they're going to call it off. It's deep out there. But then my father would call, my father would always know when school was canceled because before they'd do it, I'd get the call. And my father worked for an oil company, so he's out there running around.
So he can tell.
He's like, you canceled. What do you want to do? You want to go back to bed? Oh, I'll pick you up. And I'll pick you up at 9. And I used to, I'll go with you. I get dressed and I'll go ride with him.
You didn't want to stay and watch Channel 38 or 56 all day?
No, I did enough of that. But if my father called me to go out with him on the oil truck,
awesome.
I was all over it.
So
because it'd buy me lunch.
So you do what your dad did. He passed that down to you.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know how that happened. I went into plumbing and then I ended up doing that. I don't know. My father did it for years, and I remember he told me he lost his brakes in Brookline before they had the air brake systems. You know what I mean? It was all hydraulic at the time. Now you can't lose your brakes because if the air pressure dips underneath 60 pounds, the brakes automatically pop up. So that's what I mean. He was in the hospital for a while for that, but he did snowbank. But he told me all these stories, which I don't want to get close on what was accepted back there and back in the 60s that would never be accepted now. It's like you're playing with light, you're playing with matches in a way. It's just, you have to be really careful. And but I mean, the whole Channel 56 and the whole, the school and waiting, Gary LaPierre, that's
I heard you talking last week or the week before about Dale Dorman and the Creature Double Feature.
Yeah. Well, he had that it was last week actually, he had the Godzilla shirt on, right?
Yes.
I did. I don't have it on today.
Yeah?
I have something different on today. Anyway, I want to mention before we do our weather that South Station has lost one of its restaurants. Audubon Pan has decided to close its South Station, leaving only one location in all of Massachusetts. Don, you want you to guess where that location is?
Cambridge.
Not in Boston, and
Cambridge.
it's not in Cambridge.
No?
No. It's down here.
Really?
I'll get to that in a second. Chain of bakery cafes with roots in Boston, Audubon Pan, has closed at South Station. Its sole remaining Boston location was South Station, so now it no longer has a presence in Boston. It only has one location left in the state entirely. According to a poster within the Friends of Boston Hidden Restaurants Facebook group page, the South Station location of Audubon Pan no longer in business, with a check on the website for the company showing that the outlet is no longer in the locations section. The only location left in Massachusetts is a franchise outlet at Stonehill College in Easton. Audubon Pan's roots date back to Faneuil Hall in the 1970s, with its first shop in Boston opening up in 1978. Over the years, numbers of shops opened in and around the city. Headquarters moved from Boston to Texas in 2021. So it's no longer a Massachusetts-based company. It only has one location left in Massachusetts, no presence in the city. It used to have several restaurants in the city. I
remember in the 80s I used to get coffee there when I was working in Cambridge. I remember there was a lot of them in Cambridge. That's funny. Oh, by the way, too, I want to thank Paul Laz for calling in last week, Paul. I actually had a chance to talk to him yesterday, and we had such a good talk about movies, and he did remind me again about A Mad, Mad World, where
that's so good.
the Three Stooges were there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a quick cameo, but I mean, he was talking to Phil Silvers and he was smiling. You know, Phil Silvers. You know, anybody who wants to laugh and feel good, check out some old Phil Silvers movies. He's just. And he was in. Wasn't Phil Silvers in the Beverly Hillbillies too? Early, I think he was. He was the boss, I believe. I remember seeing that. So I mean, you know, things are getting you down. You look at the weather. It's snowing. It's raining. It's whatever. It's whatever. Check out some Phil Silvers because he's so goofy and fun. So.
It's a mad world. I used to watch that with my dad. So nostalgic. I mean, the cast was in that. Just about. I wouldn't if they redid it. The people that would have today. It was just. I mean, it was just like the Three Stooges were in it, and Sid Caesar and Emma Jean Coco.
I mean, the closest you got to that in the modern day, it was the '80s, was Cannonball Run.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
I should have we should have mentioned that because everyone is in that movie.
Dom DeLuise.
Yeah, Frank Sinatra. No, Frank Sinatra was in the second one, but Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Terry Bradshaw. Who else? Roger Moore. You can keep going.
Obviously, Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds. You can just keep going. Andrew
Oh yes, I could never say her name, but she was on Maude, correct?
She was on Maude, yeah.
And then she did The Fog, I think.
Did The Fog and the Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
Which, you know, but I mean, yeah, there was a lot of people in that movie. But if you want to feel good, look out for Phil Silvers, because it's funny how.
I think his daughter was on Happy Days in the later years, and I think he might have had a couple of episodes where he bopped in. He wasn't a regular, but his daughter was on. Yeah,
was she right? Who was her daughter?
I think she played Jenny Piccolo, who didn't come in until later in life.
Jenny Piccolo was what? Fonzie's girlfriend?
No, Jenny Piccolo was Joni's friend that you never saw until much later years.
Okay,
she was either her cousin or Jenny Piccolo. I don't want to give misinformation because, anyways, I'm glad that if I want Obampana, I can go to Stone.
You know what? It's funny too because you know you talk about going down memory lane. I've been watching a lot of Little House on the Prairie.
My favorite show.
My father-in-law.
It's such a great show.
And
such a great show.
The last episode, which I couldn't pull. I had to go get dinner. So I'm trying to pull my way away, but it's when Nellie gets married, falls in love, and then when Laura is personal, and then Laura. It's the same episode. They both fall in love and they find their future husbands or whatever.
The messages that show sent, the issues, the societal issues that were addressed were incredible.
Yeah.
The acting was incredible. I thought, I'm a geek because I'm friends with Melissa Gilbert on TikTok. I'm not real friends. I mean,
everyone had a crush on her.
Yes,
she was so cute.
Yeah, she was adorable.
Yeah.
And I like the story behind the story that I understand that Mary did not get along in real life with Nellie and Laura were great friends and still are to this day, according to listening to the reading on them and stuff like that. But there was a lot. And Carol, the mother, came out with a book. I think she's like close to 80 years old. She came out with a book about a year ago that was very controversial because it kind of painted Mr. Ingalls in a very different way.
You know what is sad about that? Sometimes controversy sells.
Yes.
And sometimes people have to write a book in that fashion to make money. Yeah. Maybe she needed the money. I don't know, but I mean,
they do reunions occasionally, and I love to see. I mean, because obviously many of the
kids are all still alive.
The kids, I believe, are all still alive.
Right. And
have you ever seen the show, Joey?
I have seen Little House.
Some would say it's sappy and cliche, but it was one of my favorite, and I still watch it all the time. We have Hallmark, and I watch it all. I love it. I just think it's such a rich show of and talk about overcoming adversity. The things that happen in that show, whether it was losing a child through fire, or friends being disloyal, or going bankrupt, or just it addressed every societal issue that goes on.
It was like a part 2 of the Waltons.
Yes, it was.
It really was, but it was just set in a different timeline. Same with Waltons. I mean, who didn't like the dad on the Waltons?
Great guy.
You know what I mean? He was the most honorable.
Remember when he was in Roots and he played kind of a rough guy in the
you know what?
made-for-TV series Roots.
I saw that once in my life, and I don't remember him. But I mean, Ralph Waite.
Yes.
Ralph Waite.
He was a minister in real life.
Was he really?
Yeah. The only thing, Don, and I don't want to monopolize it, but the only thing that upset me about Waltons is when they had a second John Boyd. Well, that just didn't make sense to me. When John Boyd
really? They had another character?
Yeah, they had another character come in to replace Jesse Thomas.
I think half the Waltons were missing. They had that aunt there or whatever.
Yes, and that's in those later, like the season 7 or 8 or 9 or whatever.
They were just pushing it. It didn't work.
No, I don't think it did. I don't think it did.
I mean, I know the grandfather passed away in '76. Will Gear,
Yeah,
right?
she was great.
Will Gear was in Jeremiah Johnson.
Yes.
That movie,
Yes.
Jeremiah Johnson.
Yes. Great. I loved his.
Yeah.
I loved his body of work.
So they got been around a while, and it's always funny too because they had the one pickup, and it was always the father, the grandmother, and the mother in the cab of the truck, and the whole family was in the back of the pickup. You never see that. It's illegal to ride in the back of a pickup truck. So, you know. All right.
All right.
Weather.
Weather. Yes. Thank you, Don. You read my mind. We were going to get to our weather.
Yes.
49 degrees outside in Driscoll, Texas. We're going to start with Driscoll.
Oh, we're going to start
Texas
Driscoll, Texas.
today. Yes,
All right.
we're going to start with Driscoll,
In case
Texas today.
one of our listeners happens to be in Driscoll, Texas.
Exactly.
And
yes.
Chuck never made it to
No.
Driscoll, Texas. Unfortunately,
I failed. The mission failed, Joe. And,
They drove the 7 hours.
mission not accomplished.
All right, but 49 degrees right now in Driscoll, Texas. Cloudy, high of 71 today. Wow. 81 tomorrow. That's going to be good. It will rain tomorrow, but 81 in Driscoll, Texas tomorrow. Driscoll, North Dakota, 16 with a high of 17 today with a low of 8. On Wednesday, windy with a high of 30 and a low of 1. 1 above 0.
Driscoll, North Dakota?
Yes, Friday.
Yeah, you know you'll be getting those numbers soon. We're in January.
Driscoll, North Dakota, Friday, -4 for the high and -12 for the low. So
That's
next
good
weekend,
eating. That's
very,
good
very cold in Driscoll, North Dakota.
All right.
16 degrees right now. 35 degrees in Taunton. It's a mixture of snow and rain. Could get colder. Well, it's going to get colder. A high of 37 today. It's going to get colder. That could switch into snow. No idea if that's the case or not, or if it's just going to stop altogether later on today. But there's a possibility for this rain to switch over to snow. A low of 25 tonight. The roads will be wet. Everything is wet and going to be very, very cold tonight. So be careful if you're driving out there on the roads tonight.
And tomorrow morning.
And tomorrow morning as well. 35 degrees in Middleboro. Rain right now. Could turn into snow.
Yeah, it was nothing on the ground in Middleboro.
There's nothing in the ground on Middleboro right now.
Yeah, nothing where we lived. I didn't start seeing the snow on the ground until we got to Lakeville on 44. We started seeing it, but nothing where we lived. Not even an inch.
All right, we'll take our first commercial break right now. When we come back, we'll do our Today in Histories, and then we'll be talking with Chuck Hart. We'll see what's going on at Middleboro and St. Vincent de Paul. St. Vincent de Paul in general. What's going on?
What's going on in the food pantry?
What's going on in the food pantry? What's going on?
Programs, how things are going.
For January and
all that good
beyond.
stuff. It's all good stuff.
All good, bro.
For the month of January 2024. It is January 7th, 2024.
Yeah.
I'm Joey Driscoll. We're going to take our first commercial break right now, and when we come back, we will have more with Chuck Hart, our guest. So we'll be right back here on WVBF 1530 AM, 99.7 FM.
I used to have an Audubon pine at Mass General.
Yeah, I remember when I used to work in Cambridge, and I remember, you know what? I never
The pastries were okay. Yeah, very.
Splash Street Auto Body, located at 48 Splash Street in Brockton, Massachusetts, offers the highest quality collision repair, including
cheese is pretty good,
your car.
What?
They are a direct repair shop for all
Where? Where'd you get that?
Didn't they have that? Don't they have that?
583.
Not there. You're thinking of another place.
They're open
I remember getting that.
Where? At South Station?
Thursday, 8 to 5,
Oh.
and 8 to 4.
I got a lot better memory than you do.
I remember getting that.
Did you? Really? Yeah.
508, 583.
Oh,
I don't think they're just big.
No, it was at the. You know where you got the macaroni and cheese?
What?
Children's Hospital.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
When that was open.
They had a big place in that.
That's been closed for a very long time.
That was a big spot too.
Yeah.
You
You
know?
spent a lot of time in Cambridge?
When I worked for like 3 years for a plumbing company. So we worked at for Harvard, Harvard Properties, Harvard. What do you call it? It's Harvard Realty. And then we did work in Harvard. And, he had a get, and then Holyoke Building, which is the main building in Harvard Square, that 10-story building. We were there a lot. You know, it was good. The guy had a good contract, but
Harvard Coop.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
We used to love. There was a place on Mass Ave called
I met
Mary
Lucy
Chung's.
Ball. I met Lucy Ball
Wow.
because
Vegemite. What was the name of the stuff that she did?
Yeah.
Dynamite?
I think it was she died. I'm not sure when she died, but it was right before she died, she was awarded the Hasty Pudding. Remember the Hasty Pudding thing?
I do.
They still have that?
I think they do.
Yeah.
I think they do. I liked her.
Yeah.
Talk about and she loved John Ritter because she loved the physical comedy. So she and John Ritter were very close.
Yeah.
They did a retrospective on Three's Company, and she was like the host of it. So they
really?
Yeah, they had a really good relationship. Yeah. She liked his physical comedy because he took a lot from her because of her physical comedy.
No, you could tell.
Yeah.
You could tell. He was good.
Right, here you go. 3, 2, 1, and 0. And we're back as I turn down the music.
That's your
Here
kick
we
now.
go.
Oh, that's your stick now, Joe?
Yes.
As I turn the music down.
I turn the music down.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's your
As
job.
I turn the promo music down.
Oh,
the bumper music
Well,
down.
you know what? That's your job. You can turn
Exactly.
the music down so you can do on. So I
Yes,
think people know that.
Just do your job.
All right, our today in histories. We have a couple. We have birthdays and we have passings to talk about today. We have 2 today in histories. 1782, the first American commercial bank, the Bank of North America, opens. And 1 year ago today, January 7th, 2023, the longest U.S. House of Representatives speaker election since December 1859, February 1860, U.S. speaker election concludes. And Kevin McCarthy is elected 55th Speaker of the United States House of Representatives. That was a very, very long one. I watched quite a bit of that when that was on. Yeah, very, very interesting. Very interesting, Don.
That's democracy at its finest.
Yes.
Voting. And I like his attitude. Just vote again.
Vote again. Yeah.
Vote again.
Yeah.
You know, I packed a sandwich. I didn't say that, but you probably said, I packed a sandwich, so we could be here all night. Take a coffee. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. I just love that, the attitude. I mean,
Yeah.
some people look at politics as like, you know, mean. It's not. It's, I don't know. I mean, I know who I want to vote for.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to shove it down people's throats. I feel it's my business, you know?
And the longest U.S. Speaker election, of course, that was just before the Civil War as well.
Right.
That was a big.
You know what? All the mechanisms are in place, and they're there to be used. And I hear this, it's unprecedented. No, well, it's just part of the system. It's in the rule book. Look at the rule book. The rule book says this. So we can do it 15, 18, 20 times. I mean, you guys got to get tired. You know, you might want to make up your mind. Like Morty, make up your mind.
So we have a couple of interesting birthdays today. 1718, Israel Putnam, American general, born on January 7th, 1718, in Danvers, province of Massachusetts Bay, British America. 1800, Millard Fillmore, American politician and 13th President of the United States. 1912, Charles Addams, American cartoonist. He created the Addams Family.
Oh, right.
Very popular television series.
Who
quite a
came
while
first?
ago.
Who came first, Chuck? Addams Family or the Munsters?
I believe the Addams Family. I could be historically incorrect, but I believe the Addams Family. And both were pretty short-lived. I think there were only 2 or 3 seasons.
Right.
I know the Addams Family's had some movies. The Munsters had Munsters Go Home, if you remember that, where they were over in London, and Herman was like in an auto race. He inherited some type of castle.
Herman was,
Fred Gwynn.
yeah. He played the judge in
Yes,
My Cousin Vinny.
My Cousin, such a great movie. One of my all-time favorite movies.
Yeah.
What was her name? She won the
Melissa
Yeah,
Tomei.
won the
Yeah.
best supporting actor.
19,
Sorry.
1962. Ron Rivera, born on this day in 1962. American football player and coach of the Carolina Panthers. Current coach. I kind of don't know for how long. He might end up getting fired after this season.
Well, after you're done, I got the $1 million question I got to ask.
But
you.
Ron Rivera, current head coach of the Washington Commanders, former coach of the Carolina Panthers. Rand Paul, born on this day in 1963, American politician and physician. 1964, Nicolas Cage, American actor, played in several great movies. Ghost Rider,
National Treasure.
Yeah.
His first movie ever where he didn't get credit for, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Did you know that? That was his first role.
Who?
Nicolas Cage.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he did not get credit for it because at the time he was somebody else's relative.
What do you?
Like a producer or director, Hollywood, famous. Martin Scorsese maybe.
He played in it.
He did. He had a very trivial role.
I don't remember.
He was in the restaurant. He played like a fast food restaurant that Judd Reinhold was working at.
Oh, yeah.
And some other films as well that he was born in. Of course, Fast Times at Ridgemont. That he was in. Fast Times at Ridgemont High was his first film.
Was it Joey? Was it Francis Ford Coppola? I think he was related to Francis Ford Coppola.
He is related.
Okay, thank
yes,
you. That's what I thought it was.
Raising Arizona, which came out in 1987. Of course, Ghost Rider. Leaving Las Vegas, very
Con Air.
heartbreaking
Yes,
film.
Con Air.
Con Air,
Oh.
really good. Just a really good film.
And then
National Treasure, of course.
Yeah.
World Trade Center.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
National Treasure. He did a few of those movies, right? Opposite.
Yeah.
Who was the opposite? He was.
Did played his dad.
Yeah.
John Voight was in that too.
Was it John
I
Voight?
thought John Voight was his dad. Maybe Joey can fact check that.
Not John Voight. The other one there. He's the father of Martin Sheen. Who's Martin Sheen?
I like Martin Sheen.
I think Martin Sheen was. Might have been Martin Sheen. He could be John Voight. It was John Voight. You're right.
Yeah, but Martin Sheen's great.
And our passings today, we have two. 2007, Bobby Hamilton, American race car driver and businessman. He was the, I believe, 2004 NASCAR Truck Series champion. He passed away in 2007 from cancer. 2020, Neil Peart passed away, Canadian drummer, songwriter, and producer. The drummer of
I don't want to.
probably the best Canadian rock band.
You know what?
Ever.
I don't want to correct you on because I don't want it's Neil Peart or Peart.
Neil Peart.
Because Getty say it sounds like a pear.
Neil
So he
Peart.
says everyone messes his name up,
Yes.
but he says think of pear. Think of
Okay.
a pear. So it's pear.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
but,
No, I mean I've always said it wrong.
Of course,
I've been saying his name wrong for 40 years. I think everyone does.
Neil Peart.
That was a devastating day.
Yes.
The guy I work for loves Rush. Oh my God, he just loves Rush. And we were both sad in that day when we found out. We were both bummed out for a week because it's just like no more Rush, no more. That's the only band that really stuck together. Other than they had a drummer at the beginning on the first album, and then Neil got in '75 with Fly By Night, and they've been together since. And there's the stories behind, and Neil had some tragedies with his daughter and his wife, but his family was Getty and Alex. They kept him through it, and that last album, if you love Rush, the last album, The Garden, the song The Garden is
Yes.
the most beautiful song.
We've talked about that.
You will always, it's unbelievable.
So yeah, Rush.
Clockwork
again,
Clockwork Angels.
Clockwork Angels. It was their last album. Yeah. Again, Neil Peart passed away on this day 4 years ago. Again, Rush, one of the best, probably the best band
I believe, in my
One of
opinion,
the best bands in rock in Canada.
my
and
opinion,
maybe
Geddy
the
Lee
best
is the
rock
best,
bass, period.
the best rock bassist out there, and there's so many good ones that I love, and every time, and I know there's a lot of great bass players out there, but it always goes back to Geddy Lee.
Yes.
I think Geddy Lee is on, you know, not saying, you know, not for nothing, but he can sing. He's a good singer, and he's good on the keyboard synthesizers, and he does all that.
Yeah.
Plays bass, sings, and does the synthesizers, and he does his own little thing over in the corner, running the show, you know.
So at 7:39 a.m., let's get to our guest, Chuck Hart. So Chuck, what is going on with St. Vincent de Paul for the month of January?
First, I want to say that Don and I have been a little tangential with our nostalgia this morning. So we bring 2024 with a lot of nostalgia.
Oh yeah, I mean,
It's
showing up a clock over here.
So hopefully somebody out there in the listening audience, we gave you some warm, fuzzy.
You know what?
memories, too.
When Chuck and I get together, we always get a hairy eyeball from the patrol guy over there. We really do. He's like, you know.
Joe, you can throw something at us.
I'll tell you, we're two troublemakers.
We are.
When we get together.
We're rebels. We're rebels without a cause. We're cycling into 2024, Joey and Don, and that number, by the way, if you want, what we really need, and I don't want to take up a lot of time, but because we're
take up. But what is that number?
it's 508-947-1717.
All right.
508-947-1717.
At some point, you're not going to have to look at your phone.
You know,
for that, right?
I don't know when, though. It's my ADD gets in the way. I will say, though, that we need volunteers desperately. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday mornings. If you want to call that number, there's a gentleman by the name of Patrick or Dave Cunningham. And we really need people. The only caveat is that the people need to be able to lift 40 pounds or more. But we're in desperate need for volunteers. And I believe it's Monday morning, Tuesday mornings, and Wednesday mornings. But Patrick or David Cunningham will be able to tell you. So please call 508-947-1717. 508-947-1717. We're coming off of, we give out something like 400 meals for Christmas. Really great meals. Hams, we gave hams and all the trimmings. And we also had the big, in December they do the giving tree. And that's just unbelievable. You want to talk about having it down to a science and having people show up and come in and move out. And there were hundreds of people that got gifts, really good gifts. And so nobody went without. And there's a group of, is it fair to say the migrants that came in? I don't want to be politically incorrect or insensitive, but I think they're migrant students. Is that fair to say, John? They're living in Middleboro, the town manager, his name escapes me and I apologize, but he wrote a really nice letter to us thanking us because I guess he played the current town manager in Middleboro, wrote a really nice letter to St. Vincent de Paul because he was able to pass, he was Santa Claus and he was able to get gifts for all of the young migrant families that are coming up here, and that was really good. He said it was very, very moving to see that.
Well, that's why people flock to this country, because of the caring and the generosity and the love that, the volunteers of the food pantry in St. Vincent de Paul. I mean, they're looking to come to this country, and people like, here's some food, whatever you need, you know what I mean, welcome. And I'm sure that makes people feel good, you know what I'm saying? And it's, we're all God's children, so I mean, we got to take care of each other.
And you use the word, John, that's so true, generosity, and that's really what attracted me to St. Vincent de Paul, is the generosity of the organization. We try to really be generous and meet a variety of needs, and we need to keep growing. So if people have ideas of needs, and even you guys, if you guys have needs that you think that we could be trying to serve, we're always trying to grow, we're always trying to morph into the next transition. So there's a lot of needs out there. It came to my attention from Bill Pye, who's the former president, that there's only two sources in Middleboro of this congregational church, which is in the center of town, and then the food pantry at St. Vincent de Paul. So our numbers are growing, families are reaching out. I know this time of the year people might need help with heating, electric bills. We're there, so I would encourage you to either come down or to call that number, and why can't I remember?
You know what, it's funny too, because sometimes when you have any organization, I mean, you have to abide by certain, regulations and rules.
Yeah, there's by the way, John, there's strict federal guidelines, because we take federal funds, so there's very strict federal guidelines that we have to meet.
Right. So, it's, some people would be like, thank you for the dinner, anything I can do to help or whatever.
We also help the veterans quite a bit. We give meals to the Christmas meals and Thanksgiving Day meals to veterans.
But I mean, people would want to help, but there's always a lot of limitations what people can do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You only can do a certain job because it has to fit in this criteria, because you can't go outside the box and whatever. So I mean, in a way, you know, the regulations work and whatnot, but sometimes it could really stifle people's pride sometimes because
that reminds me of Archie Bunker. Stifling it. But you know, it's important though that you just said something that I love to do outside of the box thinking and kind of being a little bit of a rebel, but you have to go within those parameters, unfortunately.
well, I mean, yeah, someone hurts himself on property.
Yeah.
Now, you know, it's just years ago, you know. But I mean, people. I mean, there's so many of those numbers you can call, so many lawyers you can call. You know,
Well, you can drive down Route 24, John. It's all there's like 6 or 7 attorneys, like with huge signs on Route 24,
Right.
personal injury attorneys, and
Right.
So,
right.
so
I know a lot of them are needed or whatnot, but it's just I don't remember. I don't know. In the '80s, all that started or whatever, but I don't know. I think I said it stifles progress in some ways, but
I think it's a law.
But you
That's
gotta-
what I was looking for, John. The
you
law
gotta-
of unintended consequences. We come up with these protocols, and then we don't think of all the unintended consequences.
Right.
It makes it so it stifles.
right.
us.
But it's give or take though, because
Yes.
if you don't,
Right.
then something can happen where the whole operation's in jeopardy.
Well, it's like this coffee that I hold in my hand that actually has to be written on it that it might burn me, that it's hot. So one would think if you're getting a hot coffee that they wouldn't have to put a label reminding you that it's a hot coffee.
Well, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but things are going well. But if people want to donate their time, that's the big thing. We really need. They'll say that you can donate your money, your time, or your talents. So right now we're looking for time and talents because everybody has a talent, and everybody. Hopefully, some people have the time. And even if it's an hour a week, something is better than. But we really need people that can lift things because the need is growing. The need is, and it's going to only grow more.
Yeah.
So that's the update. And next week, I'm hoping that we'll either have the Madam President in studio or on the phone. The first elected female president of the Mary Elko Middleboro St. Vincent de Paul Society.
Another thing you got coming up as well this month is a free shopping event. Walt's
Oh, yes,
Mobile
that's right.
Closet,
Yes.
January 27th.
Thank you for that, Joey. Yes. And that's supposed to be. I've never seen that in action, but supposedly it's really good. That's Saturday, January 27th.
Yes.
What time is it?
Walt's Mobile Closet, Saturday, January 27th, 8:30 a.m.
Awesome.
to 11 a.m.
I hear that's a really good take. Really good take.
Yeah, it seems like they're really, think outside the box. It always seems to be every year. There's always seems to be something better. So who's the brains been there?
It's a whole group of they're
Because
we're
it
called
always
Vincentians.
Yeah.
So, but it asks, like we have like a Vincentian, like a rule book that we follow, and it really talks about what does Middleboro need. So we're constantly asking that question and soul searching, like what's the next need? So clothing, that's a need. Jackets, that's a need.
Right.
Backpacks, that's a need. So
But when we talk Middleboro, right, we also talk Carver.
yes. Sorry, thank
Bill
you. Yes.
and Rochester.
Correct.
And Joey and I went down to the diner in Mattapoisett and had breakfast, and we took 105 back. All right, we were in Rochester. That's a big area.
Yeah, it's huge.
I mean, these 4 towns
Yeah.
are huge.
Yeah.
It's almost. I think it could it be almost the size of Rhode Island. Probably not. A little half the size of Rhode Island. 4 towns probably makes up half the size of Rhode Island. They're huge.
I had a Middleboro police officer tell me one time that it can take up to 25 minutes with lights on to get to some parts of Middleboro, depending where the cruiser is at that time. That's a
Middleboro
long
is
time, 20,
huge.
25 minutes with lights on.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
huge. I think it goes Plymouth and then Middleboro, I believe. It's
What's that?
land-wise. I think Plymouth is number 1 and then Middleboro
Yeah,
is
well,
2.
Plymouth.
Yes.
The only reason Plymouth is number 1, okay, and I'm taking this with a badge of honor. It's the state park.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so
yeah.
you take the state park away, which is state owned.
Right, yeah.
It's not, doesn't belong
That's
to
true.
Plymouth.
That's true.
Now, how much land does Middleboro own?
Yeah.
Middleboro.
Yeah.
I mean, Middleboro has a lot of little small. I'm not sure if they have any state parks, but they got a lot of little county parks. They got
I
little.
don't believe so, but I can be wrong.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I don't
No,
know.
but they got these little these little trustee parks
Yeah,
and stuff like
yeah.
that all over the
Yeah.
place. They're like dotted all over.
It's a really up-and-coming town. If you go down to the Birtwood Theater that they have down there, they have that restaurant Oak. I can't think of the name of it, but it's really it's a neat town. They do a lot of events and a lot of activities, and boy, if you want to be connected in, Middleboro's a great town to live because there's so many opportunities.
Yeah.
It's really. I remember even they had during on Halloween they had a tour of allegedly there's a little bit of a haunted story about the town hall. That they were doing.
Yeah.
So there's all types of stuff.
It was on TV. It
Yeah,
made TV.
Yeah. So it's a great, and I know they do Memorial Day parades and Veterans Day parades, and I went to a Veterans dinner at the Baptist Church. For my friend invited me, and they do an unbelievable job.
Yeah.
It's like unbelievable. I mean it was just, the food was delicious. The master of ceremonies was what a great night. So there's a lot of great things.
So you're talking bumper to bumper. You're talking 4 towns. You're talking the most easterly to Carver, to the most westerly of Middleboro, to the most southerly of Rochester. You're talking 4 towns. You're talking all those people. So I mean, it's in Middleboro, but I mean, people got to realize in the towns of Carver, Lakeville, and Rochester. It's 4 towns. So I mean, we talk Middleboro, but it's not just Middleboro. So
it's true.
I mean, I think in a way, it's just like it's located in Middleboro. That's where the church is. That's where the food pantry is. But so I think people listening in those towns should really think.
Absolutely, and thank you, John, because I always forget that too, because you kind of put, and that's 100% true. But there are quite a few people that come from Lakeville and Lakeville, Carver, and Rochester to the food pantry.
Rochester,
so please,
Rochester is a road trip from here.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah. Downtown Rochester, I'm not sure how many miles it is, but it's probably a good half hour, 35-minute ride from here.
All right, well, it is 7:50. We're going to take our last
That's a segue right there.
We're going to take our last commercial break.
I call that the hairy eyeball.
And when we come back, we will have, we'll finish today with sports, because there's a lot going on with sports.
Yeah, I got to ask you the $1 million question, too.
Well, let's ask it now. What is it?
No, after the break.
Okay, after the break.
Does it have something to do with Gillette?
better take the break.
Okay, let's take the break, and we'll be right back here on Middleboro.
Stay tuned.
Middleboro in Review on 1530 AM, 99.7 FM, WVVF.
You had a great personality, John. It's awesome. Do you remember the banana splits, and they had the cliffhangers? That Congo, the banana blah.
Yeah,
I can't sing it because we'll get the FAA, but the Banana Splits used to have this show. I don't remember the name of it. It was like a 5-minute show, and it ended with a cliffhanger. Actually, Lost in Space did that too. You ended every episode with a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Like, stay tuned for next week, and if you want to find out what happened.
Yeah, well, that's brilliant, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. You ever watch Star Blazers when you were a kid? Well, that was on channel 38.
I'll Google it. I might have, but it's...
Oh, I was late for school every day.
We were so blessed when we grew up. We really were. I mean, I feel bad. I mean, this technology is as great as it is. It's so limiting in so many ways. It's too much. It's overload.
I can't even watch TV at home because of too many channels.
Yeah.
It's just... I mean...
I miss the simplicity of life. Life was so simple. You talk about a rotary phone. I mean, it was simplicity.
You know what's funny to watch? And they made it work. Highway Patrol. What's his? No, not
Chips.
No, Highway Patrol with Roderick. It's from the 50s.
Yeah, that's before my time. I didn't watch any reruns.
No. I stumbled upon that last year. There's like 6 or 7.
My brother-in-law used to love Rat Patrol. Rat Patrol.
I used to watch Rat on Channel 38 at 11:30.
No, my dad the other night was watching Perry Mason and was actually into it because he can't follow along like the news and stuff. He gets, but Perry Mason, he was focused in, and it brought him back to his childhood because I googled it. That was from 1957, so he was born in '53. So he must have watched Raymond Burr. So he must have watched that with his dad.
There was two. There was one. There was 2 of them that came in.
Yeah.
There was one.
Good morning, caller. This is Middleboro in Review. We're on a commercial break right now.
That's all right. Let me just ask you a quick question, Joe. Yeah. I know the gentleman said that they accept clothing. I have a lot of coats that are in good condition. I have some, Carhartt work pants that no longer fit, unfortunately, with, no rips in them. Do they accept that stuff?
Yes. Can I
Yes.
meet him? And I can meet him somewhere, or somewhere neutral location if he wants that, or he can bring them down to 53 Oak Street. I think is what the address. Is there any way he can?
I'm from Middleboro. I know where it is.
Oh.
I just don't want my clothes ending up in, over in another country.
Yeah, no. It would stay. It would go right to people. It would go right to people either in Middleboro, Rochester, Carver, or Lakeville.
Affirmative. And you guys are there Mondays. What is it? Again, Mondays, Wednesdays, and
Yeah, there's some. If you call Call that number. Sorry, I have like a frog in my throat.
17.
Yeah, if you call 508-947-1717 and leave your number, that someone will get in contact with you. Because then thank you so much. That's very generous of you.
Yeah, it's just sitting there, and I hate to see him go to waste.
Yeah, thank you so much, and it'll go to somebody in the area, like I said, in one of those 4 communities.
Yeah,
so
just
thank
time
you.
for
Yeah,
winter,
thank you.
it's January,
Yeah,
right?
perfect.
Have a good day.
You
Yeah,
too. Thank you for the call.
Thank you for calling.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
For listening. Your hometown radio station is
Okay,
FM
yellow mic. That goes back up.
Let me ask
Red
a quick
light.
question. I'll
Yeah.
start your segue out, and usually the only way he shuts me up is talking stock sports. And don't forget to tell the listeners about Tom coming on the 29th.
Is it the 29th?
Yeah.
No, it's not the 29th. 7th, 14th, 28th.
Oh yeah. Okay. Right. It was. Yeah.
Alright, here we go.
Yeah, because Waltz is on the 22nd.
Here we
Huh?
go.
Waltz is on the 22nd.
Alright, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And we're back here on Middleboro in Review as I turn the music down. There we go. 7:55 a.m. Don, you wanted to ask me something.
Okay. As what's his name would say? Can I ask you a question?
Colombo?
No, he was good, but Ace Ventura.
Yes.
Okay.
The Pet Detective.
Yeah. Do you think today is Bill Belichick's last day?
Today is Bill Belichick's last game as the New England Patriots coach. Yes.
You think so? What
Yes.
about you?
Today
What
is.
about you, Chuck?
Bill Belichick will be back at Gillette in the New England Patriots. That's my prediction. I think they're having a meeting tomorrow, right?
I do too.
They're having a major meeting tomorrow.
They had a bad year, but I don't know.
Well, John, they've had 4 bad years.
They've had many bad years now.
But I
4 of
mean,
them.
but how many good years?
Right.
I mean, but
Right.
his attitude is that was yesterday.
Right.
He's missed a that was yesterday. So someone's gonna say to him, yeah, that was yesterday. All right.
Can I say my
They
prediction,
have
though?
his attitude.
He will be back, but he will no longer be the general manager. If his ego allows
He
him,
will not.
you think he'll stay general manager, Jim?
No, he will. If he doesn't get all his bells and whistles, he's out.
And does he go to does he go somewhere else?
That's why I think he's out. He's not going to.
Where do you think he's going?
He's not going to get general manager duties next year.
What? My brother thinks he's a great coach. He just can't pick talent.
No, he can't. He's probably the greatest coach. He's the goat of coaching. You can't
That's
deny
funny
that.
too. I've been watching a lot of interviews with Tom Brady lately,
Yeah.
and he has nothing but good things to say about him. Because it seems like when everyone wants to throw someone under the bus because it's convenient, that man. That's why Tom Brady is always a class act. in my opinion.
He's the GOAT. You know, the thing that keeps me thinking that he's going to stay around is, remember, his children are here, his grandchildren are here. He owns real estate down in southeastern Massachusetts, South Shore. He owns real estate in Nantucket, and his children are here. I mean, his children work for the organization, so I think he's going to stay around. My thing is, if his ego can step down, if he can ego-wise just say, okay, I'll be the coach. But as Parcells said years ago, if you're gonna, I gotta get the groceries too. Didn't he say something like that? Like, you gotta at least let me get the groceries. So I think he's gonna be here. He has a contract for a year. They can sell his contract to another team. Okay.
What do you think he's going to go to work for? If
I
you
think
mentioned
he'll go to the West Coast. He'll go to San Diego. Not San Diego. Los Angeles. He'll go to the Chargers.
You think so?
Yes. He'll go to the Chargers.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
We shall
speaking
see.
of Don's brother Tom, you can have him on.
Uncle Tom. No,
Yes,
Uncle Tom.
Uncle Tom.
Well,
yes.
yeah.
Well, the
Uncle
people,
Tommy.
the
Call Uncle
people
Tommy.
out there
Hey,
know
Tommy.
him as your brother.
Yeah.
So
Uncle Tommy.
yes,
You know what I mean?
but we know
Thomas.
him. Me and Don know him as Uncle Tom. But
No, I know him as Tom.
you know him as Tom. I know him as Uncle Tom, and the people out there know him as. Your
Well, he
brother.
was on last year, and you guys talked football, and that was the
Yes.
best way to.
He's
zip
going to be
my
on
mouth.
once again this year.
You want to zip my mouth? That's the thing. I'm sitting there.
Conference Championship weekend, the 28th. He will be on. We'll be talking about what is going on for the Conference Championship games and our Super Bowl predictions.
Well, you got
stuff
four.
like
You
that.
got 14 to talk about.
We got 4 teams to talk about, and we'll probably give our Super Bowl predictions as well.
Okay, what 4 teams do you think are going to be in there?
I don't know. I'm not gonna
Can I, real quick, Washington or Michigan in the college?
Actually, I wanted to get to that. Yes.
Unfortunately, we're down to 60 seconds. I think. I don't know if
Today,
we'll go over or not.
today is Washington. Tomorrow
Yes.
is Washington versus Michigan. I'm thinking about the FCS, which I'll get to in a second. But tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m., Washington, second ranked versus number 1 ranked Michigan, both undefeated. Pretty much an equal game, in my opinion. I think Michigan probably has the upper hand. And if Michigan wins this game, I think Jim Harbaugh is gone. I think Jim Harbaugh leaves Michigan and goes to the NFL. If Michigan wins the national championship.
Could he go to New England?
If Bill Belichick leaves, yeah. I think that's definitely a possibility.
When will you think we'll know after this game?
We will probably know middle of this week what's going on with Belichick. The meeting's tomorrow, so we'll see. The FCS.
Wouldn't you like to be a fly?
They better win today. They better win today. If they don't win, they're gonna go, oh boy.
Well, we want them to lose because then they get a better draft choice, though.
Yeah, they take
really?
on
Yeah.
they take on the Jets today at
They
1
got a better
p.m.
draft choice.
Yeah, Joe. If they lose today, it's a better draft choice, correct?
Yes, I believe they picked 3rd.
That's kind of an oxymoron because you always play to win.
Yes.
Yeah.
And but if you don't play to win,
Yeah.
then you lose out on it. That's
John, I don't know how you reconcile that because if they win today, what's the pick? Is it 6?
I think it'll be 3rd.
Okay. No, if they win today, is it
If
still
they win today,
yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
So FCS, real quick. South Dakota State, who's in the FCS championship for like the 7 millionth year in a row. The South Dakota and North Dakota are just powerhouses when it comes to football in the FCS. They'll take on Montana this afternoon at 2 p.m. South Dakota's undefeated. South Dakota is my pick. I just don't think Montana will be able to beat South Dakota. But that's it. That's the sports for today. Bruins won. Celtics won yesterday. Kind of blowout games. Nothing really to talk about there.
Win is a win is a win is a win is a win.
Great. Both of those teams are great. And I want to thank Chuck Hart for being here today.
Residency. We'll see you next,
Always a pleasure.
We'll see you next month.
I mean, yes, absolutely. God willing, you always.
I saved your life this
I
morning.
appreciate that with the coffee. It was delicious. And it reminded me that do not microwave this cup because the beverage is extremely hot. But I want to thank you both on it from the bottom of my heart. Being here is really, it's a spiritual moment.
We want to thank you for all the work you do for St. Vincent de Paul and all the community work you do. And I'm sure a lot of people are really, and we had a call in.
Yeah, that was great. That was fantastic.
So we'll probably
thank
call.
you, caller.
It's nice that people, like I said, we're given society. We give. We want to make sure people are taken care of in this country.
You use that word, it's so important, generosity. I love when you said that. It's generosity.
Well, you got somebody, a listener calling in, saying, you probably, you know what, the clothes are probably mint.
Yeah, I bet you they are.
I bet they are.
I bet they are.
You know, because it's just, these jackets are probably $300 jackets or whatever. But people don't care. They want to make sure, hey, you got something you need. It's January. Yeah. I mean, we got a little snow on the ground, but we could have got buried.
Yeah.
Okay, we really gotta go. It's 8:02. We gotta go.
Gotta go.
We'll be back next week with the January 14th edition of Middleboro in Review. I don't believe we have a guest, so it'll just be me and Dawn, unless we get a guest between now and Sunday. But we'll be back next week with another edition of Middleboro in Review.
Maybe you can hear my rant.
Bye, everybody.
That was great.
Yeah, thank you.
I love how we got a caller. That's fantastic.
Yeah, well,
just like you said,
call.
Well, you heard him say that unfortunately he outgrew them, so he actually said that unfortunately he outgrew them, so maybe he put some weight on or lost weight. So they're probably mint. I guarantee they're mint.
I bet they're mint. You know what I mean?
Giant, like
See the way the guy talks, he sounds like he's military. He sounds like he's straight away.
Yeah.
I bet they're mint.
Yeah.
I bet they're clean. They'll be pressed. They'll look like something that came out of the.
It will. I bet you.
It
will.
You know?
It will.
Because people like that, especially military people. They're unbelievable. They're just so squared away. You know? So
that was great, guys.
Yeah, it's good.
So when is your Uncle Tommy on? I want to listen to that one.
The 28th.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah.
28th of
That's
January.
the day after Waltz. Thank you for reminding me about Waltz.
What's Waltz?
It's like a moving clothing store. They come in all types of jackets
Oh, yeah.
and pants and T-shirts and you
Yeah. Is that a Saturday? Waltz? Are you going to be there?
I hope to be.
Yeah, you're around Saturday,
I
right?
hope to be.
You been there
See,
every
with my
Saturday?
dad-
Or
no, I haven't been because I've been going up to Swampscott because I'm worried about my mom, John, because
Yeah.
she's like trying to. The VA is. By the way, this is nothing. I lost a tooth, so I have a non-infectious going on in my sinuses, and they went down with a camera into my nose. Have you ever had that done? So she told me for like the next 48 hours,
Bye, everybody.
you're going to have a cough and you're going to be nasal.